In this documentary, I will be talking about the history of all the different types of 2D animations, from the oldest inventions to the newest, and explain a few things about them all. 2D animation is the traditional animation method that has existed since the late 1800s. It is one drawing followed by another in slightly different pose.
Lights dance on both their faces, your eyes they sparkle bright. The beating of my heart draws closer, but my brain is.
The zoetrope. The earliest invention was the zoetrope. The images are within a spinning cylinder that has vertical slits on the sides. The person using the zoetrope will look through the slits, and as the picture rotates 360 degrees, it will give the illusion of a moving motion. In China, there was the first example made by Ding Huan in 100 BC. The zoetrope was invented by William Harner, which named it the Daedalus. The zoetrope didn't become popular until the year 1860s, but was invented in the year 1834. The phantasmoscope was an early invention for animation. It used a spinning disc with images painted around the edge that were slightly different from the next, and used the persistence of vision to create the illusion of movement, motion, and animation to the person using it. Joseph Plato established the idea and started planning the invention in 1839, and by 1841 he had created his contraption. The flipbook. John Barnes Limit created the first flipbook in the year 1868. It was the first type of 2D animation that used a linear sequence of images compared to a circular contraption such as the phantasmoscope. A flipbook or flickbook is a book with a series of pictures that vary gradually from one page to the next, so that when the pages are turned rapidly, the pictures appear to animate by simulating motion or some other change. The praxinoscope. The animation device was a successor to the zoetrope, invented by Emile Reynaud in France. In the year 1877, the praxinoscope was almost the same as the zoetrope, with a strip of images around the outer edge of a cylinder. However, the slits was removed, and an inner circle of mirrors were placed for the user to look at. This invention gave a clearer and brighter image, which made the zoetrope unpopular. The kinetoscope. In the year 1888, the kinetoscope was officially invented and described by Thomas Edison. The kinetoscope was an early motion picture device. It was designed for films to be viewed by one person at a time through a peephole at the top. It was not a projector, but was the start of the standard for the projection for video with the illusion of animation, using a perforated film, strip film, bearing sequential images over a light source with a high-speed shutter. Stop motion, well known as stop frame. It is an animation technique to make a manipulated object appear to move on its own. Albert E. Smith invented stop motion in the year 1897. For an example of stop motion, there is Wallace and Gromit, like shown on the video you are watching.
Drawn on film. The drawn on film technique is produced by the animator drawing onto blank film to create images. This allows you to draw, paint and attach any 2D objects to create virtually anything. Drawn on film was invented by Lin Lai in the year 1912. So how does this work? Drawn on film. Animators can use either blank undeveloped or blank developed film in large or small sizes, which they use determines their technique. Though many animators have made themselves famous for wildly experimental forays into drawn-on-film animation that divides from normal techniques. Cell animation. Earl Hurd first used cell animation in the year 1914. A background image would usually be drawn onto a sheet for a scene, and then used on other cells to reduce how long it would take to produce each scene of a film. Cell is a sheet of a transparent material where objects or images are drawn. The outline of the image on a cell would be drawn on the front, and the benefits of cell animation is that it saves a lot of time because it saves drawing the same thing over and over again.
See your face across the room from me. Heart's racing and it's getting pretty hard to breathe. The lights down.
Rotoscoping. This is when animators trace over footage each and every frame. Rotoscoping is used in live action and animated films. Its original were projected onto frosted glass and then redrawn. However, this technique has now been replaced digitally, which saved days of hard work for many people creating a film. Max Fleischer invented the rotoscoping technique in the year 1915 using his series Out of the Inkwell. Rotoscoping is mostly used to make a cartoon theme look and give out a lot of bright colours. Let's take a look at the developers of the animations. Winsor McCay. Winsor McCay created one of the first ever animated films. It was created in the year 1911. The film was silent and called Little Nemo. Little Nemo was originally the protagonist of the comic strip Little Nemo in Slumberland. Walter Disney. Walter Disney created the first animated cartoon fully synced soundtracked in 1928. The cartoon was named Steamboat Willie. As this was a huge milestone for Walt Disney, they still use the animation today in the start of their most recent films. Walt Disney also created Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937, 9 years after Steamboat Willie. This was the first full-featured animated film ever created.
Warner Brothers founded in 1933 as Leon Skurgener Productions was an independent company who produced the very popular Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies animated shorts in 1944. Skurgener sold the studio to Warner Brothers. The first official cartoon was then released from the Warner Brothers in 1930. It was named Sinking in the Bathtub.
Monty Python. Monty Python is a British television comedy sketch show that first aired on the BBC on the 5th of October 1969 and was animated by Terry Gilliam using still cutouts to create simple but yet funny animations. Terry Gilliam says maximum effect from minimum work.
South Park. South Park is an American adult animated sitcom created by Trey Parker and Matt Stone for the Comedy Central television network. South Park was originally made with still photographs because none of the animators could draw very well, and it was also saving a bunch of time. This method was changed over time to a computer-generated technique because it was less tedious and a lot less work. South Park has a very tight schedule of just 5 days to create one episode. (2D) advertising. Animation is an effective technique to use in 2D advertising because animated characters can last longer than real people as they don't grow old. For example, SpongeBob hasn't changed over time, has it? Also, a limited amount of possibilities of what you can do with animation, and low production costs compared to live action as it takes much less time and equipment. For example, the tissue advert. This tissue advert is audience towards an older audience as the animations and colours are all simple. The advert does not appeal to children. This is shown by the colours not being bright and cartoony.
Bitmap graphics are based on pixels, and so when scaled, there is a loss of clarity, while vector-based graphics can be scaled by any amount without degrading quality.
Take my hand and lead me away to another place. Just you and me. I don't wanna fall in love tonight.
In today's life, 2D animation is used using various computer softwares. This is because we now have the right technology to do this, and it saves a lot of time and money.